3 months into the semester, Administrator Jen announced the Galactic Academy Games. It was an annual event where students competed in various challenges, representing their species. The games were not about winning, they were about showing each species' unique abilities and building understanding. Each species will send representatives to compete in events suited to their abilities, Jen explained in a station-wide announcement. The focus is on participation and learning, not victory. Jake was surprised when people from the Human Exchange Program contacted him. They appeared on a holographic call looking excited. "Jake, we would like you to represent humanity in the games," said Director Karen Walsh, head of the program. "You have done an incredible job at the Academy. This would be a perfect chance to show the broader galactic community what humans can offer." "I don't know," Jake said slowly. "After the thing with Grunt, I don't want people to think humans are just showing off." "That is exactly why we want you to do it," Karen said. "You understand that it is not about being better than others. You will represent humanity well," Jake agreed, but with one condition. He wanted his training group involved in planning the events. If this was about understanding, then it should be a team effort. The committee agreed. Planning meetings became the most interesting part of Jake's week. His training group, now 20 strong, gathered to discuss how to best represent each species in the games. "We need events that show real abilities, not just physical strength," Lucy suggested. Her electromagnetic sensing had made her the group's emotional guide. "Agreed," Bloom said. "Perhaps we could have events based on perception, problem-solving, and cooperation?" They designed several events. The Spectrum Challenge, where teams would navigate using only colors visible to specific species. The Resonance test, where participants would identify objects using sound and vibration. The Persistence Trial, where each species would push their own limits. The Unity Maze, where multiple species had to work together. And the Adaptation Demonstration, where each species would teach others one of their techniques. The games took place in the Academy's largest assembly hall. It had been transformed into a multi-environment arena. Different gravity zones, atmospheric areas, and special equipment created spaces where any species could compete safely. Hundreds of students gathered to watch or participate. The energy was electric. Jake's event was the Persistence Trial. Each species had a customized challenge based on their body type. For Velthani, it was maintaining a complex crystal form. For Krendax, holding precise grip strength. For Pixith, sustained agile movement. For humans, it was running. Jake had chosen to run a marathon distance 42 kilometers. In the Academy's lighter gravity, it would be slightly easier than on Earth, but still a serious challenge. He had run marathons before, but never with an alien audience watching his every step. The trial began. Each species started their own challenge at the same time. Jake settled into his pace. Not too fast, he needed to save energy. The treadmill hummed beneath his feet as he found his rhythm. 1 kilometer, 2, 5. His breathing was steady, his form good. Around him, other participants struggled with their own challenges. A Velthani named Prism was trying to hold a 12-point crystal formation, which required intense focus. A Krendax was holding grip bars with increasing weight. Pip was on a small agility course, moving between obstacles. 10 kilometers. Jake's legs were starting to feel it, but he was nowhere near his limit. He could see Prism wavering slightly. The Velthani had been at this for over an hour and was showing signs of tiredness. 15 kilometers. Sweat was running down Jake's face. In Earth gravity, he would be struggling more, but here he was still in control. The crowd was watching closely. Many had never seen a human run for more than a few minutes. 20 kilometers. Halfway. Jake could hear Pip making encouraging sounds from his agility course. "You can do it, Jake. Keep going." At 25 kilometers, something unexpected happened. Prism's crystal form finally collapsed. The Velthani had held it for over 90 minutes, far longer than anyone expected. But instead of looking defeated, Prism was glowing with pride. They had pushed beyond their previous limits. Dawn rushed over. "Prism, that was extraordinary. You held the form for 93 minutes. Your previous record was 70. Prism's colors went through happy yellows and proud golds. I learned from watching Human Jake. Pushing limits, not giving up. I used those ideas. Jake heard this as he ran past, and it made him smile. That was the point. Not the competition, but the learning. 30 kilometers. His legs were burning now. His breathing was harder. But he had trained for this. He knew he could finish. The crowd was cheering. Not just for Jake, but for all the participants. A Dravoni had just finished a sustained flight that lasted 10 minutes. A Zolari was navigating a maze using only electromagnetic sensing, showing abilities most species did not know existed. 35 kilometers. Jake's vision was starting to narrow. The tiredness was real now. But he could see the finish line ahead. Jake! 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 The crowd was chanting his name, but they were also chanting others. Prism, Sky Singer, Zap Sense. Each competitor had earned respect. 40 kilometers. So close. Jake's body was telling him to stop. His muscles were empty. His energy was running low. But humans were persistence hunters. This was what they were built for. 42 kilometers. Jake crossed the finish line and immediately slowed to a walk, hands on his knees, breathing hard. He had done it. 2 hours and 43 minutes. Not his best time, but good given the situation. The gymnasium exploded with applause. Dawn approached, her entire form glowing bright with excitement. Jake Morrison, that was incredible. 2 hours and 43 minutes of continuous running, and you inspired others to push their own limits. Jake looked around. Prism was being congratulated by other Velthani. The Dravoni, who had flown so long, was surrounded by admirers. The Zolari navigator was explaining electromagnetic sensing to a fascinated crowd. That is what it is about, Jake said, still catching his breath. Not me being amazing. All of us being amazing together. But the most important event was still coming. The Unity Maze. The maze was a complex puzzle that needed teams of mixed species to solve. Jake had been assigned to a team with Bloom, Grunt, Pip, and Lucy. Each section of the maze needed abilities unique to different species. The first section needed Bloom's ability to bend light. She had to create specific patterns to unlock a door. The second section needed Grunt's strength to move massive blocks, but also his care to place them exactly without breaking them. The third section was built for Pip's size and flexibility, with tiny passages only a Pixith could navigate. The fourth section needed Lucy's electromagnetic sensing to find hidden pathways marked by field generators, and the fifth section needed Jake's endurance and strength to carry equipment from previous sections while navigating a challenging obstacle course. But here was the trick. No species could do their section alone. Bloom needed guidance from Pip, who could see the final pattern from a unique spot. Grunt needed Lucy to sense the strength of the blocks before moving them. Pip needed Jake to reach high places and create platforms. Lucy needed Bloom to bend light in ways that made electromagnetic fields visible, and Jake needed everyone's guidance to know what equipment to carry and where. It was a perfect example of galactic cooperation. Jake's team entered the maze. Immediately they faced the first challenge. I can create the light patterns, Bloom said, but I cannot see the target pattern from here. Pip climbed up a wall. I can see it. There are 6 crystals on the far wall. You need to hit them with red, blue, red, green, red, blue. Bloom focused, her form bending light in exact beams. But the angle was wrong. I need to be higher. Jake, Grunt rumbled. Lift her. Jake carefully picked up Bloom. She was surprisingly light and lifted her to shoulder height. From there, her light beams hit perfectly. The door opened. They moved to the second section. Massive blocks needed to be stacked, but they were fragile crystal structures. I cannot see the internal structure, Grunt admitted. I fear I will break them. Lucy stepped forward, her fur moving as she sensed. I can feel the energy patterns. This block has a crack on the left side. Hold it on the right. This one is stable. This one is weak at the base. Use it on top, not bottom. With her guidance, Grunt moved blocks with surprising care. The big Vorlax was learning precision from his training with Jake, and it showed. Pip's section was next. Tiny tunnels with hidden switches. But some switches were visual, marked with colors only certain species could see. "Kern!" Pip called out. "I need Krendak's eyes." Kern was not on their team, but he was watching. "Left tunnel." Third switch, it is marked in ultraviolet. Cross-team cooperation. The judges looked pleased. Lucy's electromagnetic section was the most challenging. The pathways were marked, but only Lucy could sense them. She had to guide the others through blind. Jake, 3 steps forward. Bloom, turn 45 degrees left. Grunt, you are too large for this path, we need to find another way. They worked together, Lucy calling directions, the others trusting her completely, even though they could not see what she sensed. Finally, Jake's section. He had to carry the crystal device Bloom had charged, the block Grunt had shaped, the code Pip had found. The challenge with Grunt created an unexpected result. Instead of causing division, it brought students together. Different species began comparing their abilities not as competition, but as chances to learn from each other. Grunt kept his word and joined Jake's training group. The big Vorlax was surprisingly humble after his defeat. Jake discovered that beneath the pride was real curiosity about other species. Vorlax culture valued strength, yes, but they also valued knowledge and improvement. On my homeworld, Grunt explained one day during stretches, we are taught that strength is everything. But here I am learning that strength takes many forms. Your species has one type. Mine has another. The Velthani have crystal toughness. The Pixith have flexibility. All are valuable. It was during these training sessions that Jake began learning something important. Humans might be physically stronger by galactic standards, but they were weaker in many other ways. The lesson came from a surprising source. One day, Bloom arrived at training looking different. Her crystal form was bending light in unusual patterns, creating rainbow effects across the floor. "Bloom, are you okay?" Jake asked, worried. "Oh yes," she said, her voice like musical chimes. "I am simply thinking about the new information you shared about human muscle growth. I find it fascinating how your species repairs and rebuilds tissue. Velthani do not work the same way." "How do Velthani work?" Jake asked, curious. What followed was a 30-minute explanation of Velthani biology that went completely over Jake's head. Bloom described crystal matrix rebuilding, light energy absorption, and vibration-based cell communication as easily as talking about the weather. Jake understood maybe 10% of it. "Wait," he said, stopping her. "You understood all of that from the materials I gave you? The human biology texts?" "Of course," Bloom said, her colors shifting to confused blue. "They were quite simple, although I did notice some problems in human cell repair systems. Have your scientists considered vibration therapy to speed healing?" Jake stared at her. "Bloom, those were advanced biology texts. University level. I barely understood them myself." "Really?" Now Bloom's colors were sympathetic yellow. "Oh, Jake Morrison, I apologize. I forget that humans have much shorter lives. You have less time to learn things. How long do Velthani live?" Jake asked. "I am currently 43 cycles old, which makes me quite young. Most Velthani live for 200 cycles or more. I have much learning ahead of me." Jake did quick math. A cycle was about equal to an Earth year. Bloom was 43 years old and considered young. She would live over 200 years. "I'm 20, Jake said quietly. "If I'm lucky, I'll live to 80 or 90, maybe 100 with good medical care." Bloom's entire crystal structure dimmed. Oh, Jake Morrison. I did not realize. Your species has such short time. That is why you must be so strong physically. You burn so bright but so briefly." It was a heavy thought. The truth spread through Jake's training group. Each species began sharing their own abilities and limits. Jake realized just how many ways humans fell short. Kern explained that Krendaks could see in colors humans could not perceive. "You see colors, yes? Red, blue, green? We see 12 additional color ranges. Your human eyes are quite limited." Pip, despite being physically small, could hear sounds that would be completely silent to human ears. "You cannot hear the electrical hum of machines? How do you know when something is breaking?" Tweetsong could process visual information so fast that she could watch things in flight that would be invisible blurs to humans. "When you throw your sports ball, you see it as a streak, yes? I see every spin, every movement in the air. It moves slowly to me." Lucy's species had a sense that humans lacked completely. They could detect electromagnetic fields. I can feel the energy patterns of living things around me, she explained. It is how we move in darkness and sense emotions in others. You truly cannot feel this. How do you know what others are feeling? We use body language and facial expressions, Jake explained. And sometimes we guess wrong. That seems hard, Lucy said kindly. Even Grunt had advantages. Vorlax could enter a sleep-like state during hard times, surviving for months without food or water. Their armor plates could grow back from injuries that would permanently damage humans. They could breathe in air conditions that would kill a human in minutes. Jake brought his discoveries to Dawn during one of their planning meetings. I have been teaching them about human strengths, he said. But I am starting to realize how many weaknesses we have. We cannot see as well as Krendax, hear as well as Pixith, think as fast as Dravoni, sense like Zolari, or survive like Vorlax. We are physically strong, sure, but we are worse in almost every other way. Dawn's colors shifted to wise purple. Jake Morrison, I think you're beginning to understand the real purpose of this academy. Every species has strengths. Every species has limits. Humans are special in some ways, but you are ordinary in others. This is true for all of us. Then what makes humans special? Jake asked. If we are just strong but limited, what do we bring to the galaxy? Have you not noticed? Dawn asked. You have been here for 2 months. In that time you have built bridges between species that rarely talk. You have taken students with nothing in common and created a community. You have adapted human knowledge to alien bodies and alien knowledge to human understanding. You are a natural teacher and helper. Jake had not thought about it that way. Humans are adaptable, Dawn continued. Your species evolved on a world that changed constantly. Ice ages, weather changes, predators, diseases. Your planet threw everything at you. So you learned to adapt, to change, to work together despite differences. That is your real strength, Jake Morrison. Not muscles, not endurance, adaptability. The conversation stayed with Jake. He began paying more attention to how his training group worked together. Bloom, with her long life and deep knowledge, had started helping Pip with his studies. Kern used his special vision to help Tweetsong perfect her flying forms. Lucy's emotion sensing helped her solve arguments between group members. Grunt's Vorlax discipline inspired others to push through hard training. And Jake? Jake was the bridge. The one who could understand each species, view and help them understand each other. It came together during an incident in the dining. A Krendax student and a Dravoni student had gotten into an argument over seating. It was getting worse quickly, with other students taking sides. The Krendax was physically larger and stronger, while the Dravoni was faster and more agile. It looked like they might fight. Jake was eating with his training group when they noticed the problem. Should we get security? Pip asked nervously. No, Jake said, standing up. Let me try something. He walked over to the arguing students, standing between them without being threatening. Hey, what is going on? The Krendax student, clearly upset, explained. This Dravoni took my seat. I was here first? I only left to get more food. The Dravoni made angry bird sounds. Seat was empty. First come, first served. You left, I took it. Okay, Jake said calmly. I think I see the problem. You are following different cultural rules. Both students looked at him, confused. On the Krendax homeworld, holding space is respected, right? If you claim a spot, others honor that claim even if you step away briefly. It is about honor and respect. The Krendax student nodded. But Dravoni culture is different. Resources are claimed by immediate use. If you are not actively using something, it is available to others. It is about efficiency. The Dravoni nodded too. So neither of you is wrong, Jake continued. You are both following your own cultural rules. The problem is that here at the Academy many cultures mix. We need to find middle ground. He pulled an extra chair from a nearby table. How about this? Krendax friend, you take this chair next to your original spot. Dravoni friend, you keep the seat you have. You are both at the same table, which means you can talk and maybe understand each other better. Fair? The two students looked at each other, then at Jake, then back at each other. Slowly they nodded. Fair, the Krendax said. Agreement, the Dravoni chirped. As Jake returned to his table, Lucy was smiling. That was impressive. It was simple problem solving, Jake said. No, Bloom said. It was understanding. You saw both views and found a solution that honored both. Not many can do that. Grunt nodded his heavy head. Human Jake has the strength of body, yes, but also strength of mind. To see clearly and choose wisely. This is warrior wisdom. I don't know about that, Jake said, feeling embarrassed. I just did not want to see people fight over something small. That is exactly the point, Pip said. You saw that fighting was not needed. You chose peace. That is special, Jake. Later that week, Administrator Jen called Jake to his office again. I have been getting reports, Jen said, his scale showing approval, about you. From teachers, students, even cafeteria workers. Do you know what they say? That I eat too much? Jake joked. Human food needs were much higher than most species. Jen's scales rippled with amusement. That too. But mostly they say that you have become, quite unexpectedly, a leader among students. Not through strength or fear, but through understanding and respect. I'm just trying to fit in, Jake said. You are doing more than that. You are showing other species what humans can offer beyond physical ability. Intelligence, yes. Flexibility, certainly. 1 week after the demonstration, Jake's life at the academy had completely changed. Instead of being the scary human from the Deathworld, he had become one of the most popular students. His explanation of human exercise had sparked curiosity instead of fear. Students from many different species approached Dawn about learning human exercise methods. They could not match human strength, of course, but they wanted to understand the ideas behind human training. The concept of building strength through repeated practice was new to most alien species. They usually just did enough activity to stay healthy and nothing more. Dawn came to Jake with an offer. Jake Morrison, I have a request. Would you help me teach physical education? You would work with small groups and show them modified exercises based on human methods. Jake was surprised. You want me to be a teacher? An assistant teacher, Dawn corrected. Her crystal body glowed warm blue. You would help small groups and explain the reasons behind the exercises. Your own training would still be separate. I have been reading human exercise science, and I must say it is quite advanced. I'd be happy to help, Jake said. That was how Jake got his first teaching group. 5 students had volunteered to try the new human-inspired training program. The group included Pip, the small furry Pixith, a crystal Velthani named Bloom, a large-plated Krendax named Kern, a bird-like Dravoni named Tweetsong, and a cat-like Zolari named Lucy. Jake had never met a Zolari before. Lucy had sleek fur, large eyes, and a long tail that moved when she talked. Okay, everyone, Jake said on their first day. First rule is we go at your pace, not mine. This is not about becoming as strong as humans. It is about improving your own fitness safely. Everyone understand? They all nodded. Good. Let's start by seeing what you can do right now. He had set up different stations with equipment adjusted for different species. Bloom, you go first. Over the next hour, Jake learned a lot about alien bodies. Bloom could hold perfectly still for 20 minutes without getting tired, but any movement exhausted her quickly. Kern had great strength for gripping and pulling, but had trouble with smooth coordination. Pip was very flexible, but had almost no endurance. Tweetsong could do quick, explosive movements, but needed long rest periods afterward. Lucy was average at everything, not great, but not bad at anything. Okay, Jake said, making notes on a datapad. I think I see what we need to work on. For Bloom, we will focus on movements to go with your natural stillness. Kern, we will practice coordination and smooth transitions. Pip, we will slowly build up your endurance. Tweetsong, we will work on sustaining your activity between bursts. And Lucy, we will develop an all-around program. You can do all that? Lucy asked, her tail moving with interest. I can try, Jake said. The basic ideas are the same. Gradually increase difficulty. Train for your specific goals. And rest to let your body adapt. They started simple. For Bloom, Jake taught her slow-flowing movements like a gentle dance. The controlled motions were perfect for helping her build movement strength without breaking her crystal structure. For Kern, he created obstacle courses that needed smooth, controlled movements. The big Krendax struggled at first. His powerful arms wanted to just grab and pull, but slowly he learned to move with coordination. Pip was the biggest challenge. The little Pixith had enthusiasm but no endurance. Jake started him on interval training. 30 seconds of light jogging followed by 2 minutes of walking. It was very easy by human standards, but Pip was breathing hard after the first interval. This is harder than I thought, Pip gasped. That means it is working, Jake said encouragingly. Your body is adapting. In a few weeks, this will feel easy, and we will move to the next level. Tweetsong's training focused on extending her natural bursts. Jake taught her circuit training. A burst of activity, Brief rest, another burst, rest, and repeat. It matched her natural body while slowly making her active periods longer. Lucy got a little bit of everything. Jake taught her what humans called functional fitness, which meant movements useful in everyday life. 3 weeks later, the changes were clear. Bloom could move through her forms for 5 minutes without stopping. Her crystal body had taken on a new shine that meant good health for Velthani. Kern could move through obstacle courses smoothly. He had started using his new coordination skills in his engineering classes. He came to Jake one day, excited to explain how understanding smooth motion had improved his machine designs. Pip could jog for 2-minute intervals. He told everyone proudly, "I can jog for 2 whole minutes." Jake never pointed out that this was still very little by human standards. For Pip, it was a real achievement. Tweetsong could keep activity going for 90 seconds between bursts, 3 times better than when she started. She had begun using her new endurance in her flying practice. Lucy surprised everyone by becoming the most dedicated student. She arrived early and stayed late, asking questions about exercise theory and human training methods. "My species does not have this concept," she explained. "We just maintain basic health. The idea of training to get better than our baseline is new to me." It is fascinating. The success of Jake's small group got attention. More students wanted to join. Dawn had to create a waiting list, but not everyone was happy. One day, a large student approached Jake. His name was Grunt, and he was a Vorlax. The Vorlax were one of the bigger species at the academy. They looked roughly humanoid but were covered in thick armor-like plates. Grunt was very muscular even for a Vorlax. "You are the human," Grunt stated. "It was not a question, that's me. I'm Jake." "I hear you have been teaching others about strength training," Grunt said. His tone was neutral but felt unfriendly. "This interests me. Vorlax pride themselves on being strong. I want to see if human methods are better than ours." There was an edge to his voice that Jake did not like. This was not a friendly request. "I'm happy to show you what we do," Jake said carefully. "Good. Then you will not mind a demonstration. Tomorrow, in the gymnasium, you and I will both show our training routines, and the students can decide whose species has the better methods." Jake realized what was happening. Grunt was challenging him, turning this into a competition. If Jake backed down, he would look weak. If he accepted, he risked either embarrassing Grunt or looking arrogant. "I don't think that's a good idea," Jake said. "This is not about competition. It is about helping people improve." "You refuse my challenge?" Grunt's plates rattled, a sign of anger. Maybe the rumors about human ability are wrong after all. Several students had stopped to watch. Jake could see Pip looking worried. Lucy had her hand on her communication device, probably ready to call Dawn. "I'm not refusing," Jake said calmly. "I'm saying that comparing our species directly is not fair. We evolved under different conditions. It is not about better or worse." "Words of a coward," Grunt said. "Tomorrow, gymnasium, be there or admit that humans are weak." He walked away before Jake could respond. Lucy came over quickly. "Jake, you cannot accept that challenge. Grunt is trying to embarrass you. He is angry that students are leaving his training sessions to join yours. So this is about pride," Jake said. "For him, yes. Vorlax culture values strength above almost everything. Your presence threatens his position as the strongest student." Jake sighed. "I really didn't want to do this." "Do what?" Pip asked nervously. "Show off," Jake said. "That was not what this was supposed to be about." The next day, the gymnasium was completely full. The entire academy had heard about the challenge. Jake arrived in his workout clothes to find Grunt already there, surrounded by other Vorlax students. Dawn was there too, looking worried. "Jake Morrison," Dawn said quietly. "You do not have to do this." "I know," Jake said. "But if I don't, Grunt will keep making trouble. Better to handle this now." Grunt stepped forward. The human arrives. "Let us begin. I will show Vorlax strength training first." What followed was impressive by galactic standards. Grunt lifted heavy weights, his armor plates flexing with effort. He did something like pull-ups on a high bar, pulling his large body upward. He finished with powerful strikes against a padded target that made loud sounds. The Vorlax students cheered. Grunt turned to Jake, his chest plates expanded with pride. "Now, human, show us what your species can do." "If you can," Jake stepped forward. He had thought about this carefully. He did not want to embarrass Grunt, but he also could not hold back so much that humans looked weak. He needed balance. "Okay," Jake said. But I want everyone to remember this is not about better or worse. Different species, different abilities. Agreed? He started with pull-ups. He jumped to the bar and began. 1, 2, 3. He kept going, his pace steady. 10, 15, 20. The gymnasium had gone quiet. 30, 40, 50. He dropped down, not even breathing hard. Push-ups next, he said. He got into position and began. Unlike the slow, careful push-ups from his demonstration weeks ago, these were fast. His body moved like a machine up and down, up and down. He counted to 100 and stopped. Not because he was tired, but because he had made his point. For weights, he adjusted the gravity to Earth normal and loaded a bar with what would be moderate weight for human training. In the lighter Academy gravity, it looked much heavier. He did a set of squats, the bar moving smoothly. He finished with endurance. He set the treadmill to a medium running pace and simply ran, and ran. Administrator Zhen's office was quiet and calm, very different from the chaos Jake had just left in the gymnasium. Zhen was a reptilian being with smooth scales and intelligent golden eyes. He had been running the academy for many years and had seen students from countless worlds. But even he looked surprised as Jake entered. "Please sit down," Zhen said, pointing to a chair that could adjust to fit different body types. Jake sat, still feeling confused and guilty about what had happened. He had not meant to scare anyone. He was just trying to exercise. Zhen pulled up a holographic screen that floated in the air between them. "Jake, we need to talk about what happened today. I think there has been a misunderstanding." "I'm sorry," Jake said quickly. "I didn't know my warm-up would scare everyone. I was just doing normal exercises." "That is exactly the problem," Zhen said gently. "What is normal for you is extraordinary for almost everyone else in the galaxy." He touched the holographic screen and a chart appeared. "Let me show you something. This chart shows the average physical abilities of most species in the galactic community." Jake looked at the chart. It showed measurements for strength, speed, endurance, and other physical traits. Everything was marked in green, labeled as standard or normal. "Now look at this," Zhen said. Another chart appeared next to the first one. "This is a human." Jake stared at the comparison. According to these charts, humans were 5 times stronger than the average galactic species. Their endurance was 8 times higher. Their bone density was so high it was marked in red as dangerous. Their reaction time was twice as fast. Their pain tolerance was listed as extreme. "Is this right?" Jake asked. "Are humans really this different?" Zhen's scales rippled in a way that might have been a sigh. "We have been studying Earth data more carefully since you arrived. If anything, these numbers are too low. Jake, your species evolved on a planet that is constantly trying to kill you. Your gravity is crushing by our standards. Your weather is violent. Your planet has more predators than most worlds have total species. Earth is tough, but we manage," Jake said. "You manage," Zhen repeated. "Jake, most species evolved on worlds where the biggest danger was maybe a bad storm once every few years. Your species fought to survive against some of the most dangerous predators in the known galaxy. You hunted animals by chasing them until they collapsed from exhaustion. You developed the ability to sweat, which is one of the most efficient cooling systems in nature. You can heal from injuries that would kill most species." Jake was quiet for a moment. He had never thought about Earth this way. "It was just home. I never realized we were that different," he said. "Of course not. It is normal to you." Zhen pulled up images of Earth. Mountains, oceans, forests, and deserts appeared in the hologram. "But think about this from the perspective of a Velthani. Their home world has much lighter gravity, and their most dangerous predator is about the size of your rabbits. When they see you doing exercises that would put them in the hospital, they get frightened." "I scared them," Jake said quietly. "I didn't mean to. I know. That is why we are having this conversation instead of sending you home." Zhen leaned forward. "Here is the situation. You are not the first human at this academy, but you are the first in a long time. The previous humans were scientists and diplomats who spent most of their time in classrooms. The other students have never seen a human athlete before. They have never seen what a human at peak physical condition can do. So what do we do?" Jake asked. Zhen thought for a moment, his scales changing color slightly. "We educate. Both you and them. You need to understand that what is normal for you is superhuman to everyone else. They need to understand that you are not a threat, just different." "How?" "Carefully," Zhen said. "Very carefully. Dawn suggested creating a special gym just for you, separate from everyone else. But I have a different idea." Jake waited. "I think you should show them what humans can do. Not to frighten them, but to educate them. Let them ask questions. Let them understand. Fear comes from not knowing. Once they see that you are just a student like them, only with different abilities, the fear will fade. You really think that will work? I think it is our best option, Jen said. If we isolate you, everyone stays afraid. That defeats the purpose of this academy. We are here to learn about each other. That cannot happen if you are alone. Jake thought about Pip, who had tried to be friendly before getting scared. He thought about Dawn, who had been welcoming until she thought he was hurt. They were not bad people. They just did not understand, okay? Jake said. I'll do it. When do we start? Tomorrow, Jen said. Dawn will announce a special demonstration. You will explain what you are doing before you do it. Answer questions. Help them understand. The next day, Jake arrived at the gymnasium to find it packed. Word had spread through the entire academy. Students from all years and all species had come to see the human from the Deathworld. Some looked scared, some looked curious, and some looked excited. Dawn greeted him at the entrance. Her crystal body was a neutral white color. Jake Morrison. Are you ready? As ready as I'll ever be, Jake said. She led him to the center of the main gym floor. A holographic projector had been set up. Dawn had prepared a presentation with information about humans and Earth. Jake could see Pip sitting in the front row with other small, furry students. The large plated student from yesterday was there too, looking nervous but interested. Dawn's voice echoed through the gym. Students, thank you for coming. Today we will learn about human physical education. Jake Morrison has agreed to demonstrate and explain. Please remember that humans are Deathworlders. What you will see is normal for his species, but extraordinary for us. Jake stepped forward and waved. Hi, everyone. Yesterday I scared you all, and I'm really sorry about that. I didn't know how different humans were. But Administrator Jen thought it might help if you could see what we do and understand why. A bird-like student raised a wing. Is it true you were only warming up yesterday? Yeah, Jake admitted. For humans, we need to warm up our muscles before hard exercise, or we can hurt ourselves. Our muscles work better when they are warm. But you were jumping and shaking and moving up and down very fast, Pip said. His fur still looked nervous. That seemed very hard, Jake smiled. Okay, let me start from the beginning. He used the holographic projector to show an image of Earth. This is my home planet. See how it looks? It has lots of water, land, and atmosphere. But the important thing is gravity. Earth's gravity is much stronger than what most of you are used to. From the moment we are born, we are fighting against it. Just standing up takes effort. Walking takes effort. Everything is like a constant workout. He showed more images. Our planet's gravity is almost 3 times the galactic standard. So our bodies had to adapt. We developed thick bones, strong muscles, and powerful hearts just to survive daily life. A crystal student's colors changed to interested yellow. So your physical education is actually training for life on your world? Exactly, Jake said. But it is more than that. Humans also evolved as persistence hunters. Does anyone know what that means? Nobody answered. It means we hunted by chasing prey animals until they were too tired to run anymore. Most predators are faster than us in short distances, but humans can run for hours. We can keep going when other animals would collapse from exhaustion. Hours? Pip squeaked. You can run for hours without stopping? The fastest human marathon runners can run 42 kilometers in about 2 hours, Jake said. And those are just our best runners. Average humans can jog for an hour or more pretty easily. The gymnasium filled with shocked sounds. Students made noises of disbelief in many different languages. Jake continued, So when I do push-ups or go for a run, I am not doing something extreme. I am just maintaining the basic fitness my species needs. If I don't exercise, my muscles get weak, my bones get thin, and I'm not prepared for life on Earth when I go home. A reptilian student raised a clawed hand. Can you show us? Slowly this time so we can understand. Sure, Jake said. He got down on the floor in a push-up position. This is called a push-up. I use my arms, chest, and middle body muscles to lift my body weight against gravity. For a human in Earth gravity, this is basic exercise. Here, with lighter gravity, it is even easier. He did 5 slow push-ups, explaining each one. Down, keeping my back straight. Up, pushing through my arms. This builds strength and endurance. He stood up. Now I'll show you a squat. He bent his knees and lowered his body, then stood back up. This works my leg muscles. On Earth, we do these to make sure we can stand, walk, and run in our heavy gravity. For the next hour, Jake showed different exercises. He demonstrated stretches, core exercises, and cardio movements. With each one, he explained that these were normal for humans and necessary for staying healthy on a high-gravity death world. The students asked many questions. How much weight can you lift? Can you really run for hours? Does it hurt? How fast can you move? Jake answered every question patiently. He tried to help them understand. As time passed, he noticed something changing. The students looked less afraid and more interested. They were beginning to see him not as a predator or a danger, but as someone adapted to a very different world. At the end, Pip approached carefully. Jake Morrison. The space station floated quietly above Valorum Prime, a peaceful planet chosen for its calm weather and light gravity. Inside the Galactic Interspecies Academy, thousands of students from hundreds of different worlds lived and studied together. The hallways were filled with strange and wonderful beings. Some had scales, some had fur, and some looked like living crystals that sparkled in the light. Jake Morrison walked through those hallways with his gym bag over his shoulder. He was 20 years old, tall and fit from years of playing sports back on Earth. His brown hair was still messy from the morning, and he wore simple workout clothes. He had no idea that he was about to cause panic. The gymnasium was massive. It had different sections for different types of students. There was a pool for water-breathing species, a garden area for beings who needed sunlight, and rooms with different levels of gravity. Everything was designed to make all species comfortable. Jake found the main gym area and walked in. The ceiling was high, the floor was soft, and strange exercise equipment lined the walls. Other students were already there doing what they called warming up. A being made of clear crystal floated over to him. She was the instructor, and her name was Dawn. Light passed through her body and created rainbow patterns on the floor. When she spoke, her voice sounded like wind chimes. Welcome, Jake Morrison. I am Dawn, your physical education instructor. We are happy to have a human student join us. Thanks, Jake said with a smile. Where should I start? Dawn's crystal body flickered with soft colors. Please join the others in their warm-up routine. Section 7 is for general fitness. Jake walked to Section 7. About 30 students were there, all doing gentle movements. A small furry creature was lifting a weight that looked lighter than a pillow. Bird-like students were hopping slowly in place. A large being with thick skin was doing careful stretches. Jake stood there, confused. This was warming up? Back on Earth, his warm-ups were 3-mile runs and hundreds of push-ups. This looked more like what his grandmother did in her yoga class. A tiny student approached him. The creature was covered in soft fur and had huge eyes. He barely reached Jake's knee. Hello, I am Pip. You are the human, yes? Welcome to our academy. The small being's voice was high and nervous. Please be careful with the equipment. It is calibrated for safe use. Thanks, Pip, I'll be careful, Jake said. Jake decided to start with something simple. He began jogging in place, just bouncing on his toes to get his blood moving. It was the easiest thing in the world for him. He did it without thinking. The gym went silent. Pip stumbled backward, his fur standing straight up. What is he doing? Is that normal? A crystal student nearby turned bright purple. His body is shaking very fast. Should we call the medical team? Another student stretched out an arm as if to protect others. Stay back. He might be sick. Jake kept jogging, counting in his head. He planned to do this for 5 minutes before moving on to real exercise. He had no idea everyone was staring at him with fear. Dawn rushed over, her crystal body flashing red like an alarm. Jake Morrison, please stop. Are you in pain? Jake stopped and looked at her, confused. What? No, I'm fine. I'm just warming up. Warming up? Dawn's colors changed rapidly, flashing through the whole rainbow. But you were doing level 5 intensity exercise. That is only for emergency training. These are just basic warm-ups, Jake said. He still did not understand the problem. That was when he noticed every student in the gymnasium had stopped moving. They were all staring at him. Some looked curious, but most looked terrified. A few looked like they might run away. A bird-like student made a nervous chirping sound. He calls that basic. His species thinks that is basic. Pip's fur had gone completely flat against his body. I heard stories about Deathworlders, but I thought they were just stories. Deathworlder? Jake asked. The word sounded strange. Dawn's colors became a dull orange. Yes, Jake Morrison. You know that Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world, correct? It is one of the most dangerous planets we know. Jake scratched his head. I mean, sure, Earth can be tough sometimes, but it's not that bad. Not that bad? A large student with thick plates covering his body spoke up. His voice shook with fear. Your planet has storms that destroy entire cities. Your gravity is 3 times stronger than standard. Your air has dangerous levels of oxygen. Your planet has predators that could kill most of us easily. And you survived growing up there, Pip whispered. To live on such a world and reach adulthood, you must be incredibly powerful. Jake was starting to understand. What felt completely normal to him was amazing and scary to everyone else. He had grown up in Earth's heavy gravity. He had breathed Earth's oxygen-rich air his whole life. His muscles and bones had developed to handle his home planet's challenges. Things that were ordinary for him were superhuman for aliens. Look, I don't want to scare anyone, Jake said carefully. Maybe I should exercise somewhere else, alone? Dawn thought about this, her colors shifting. That might be wise, at least at first. But I am curious, Jake Morrison. If jogging in place is your basic warm-up, what do you consider real exercise? Jake thought about his normal routine back home. Running several miles, lifting heavy weights, practicing for football, doing core exercises, and finishing with sprints. Well, usually I start with a run, maybe 5 kilometers to warm up my legs. The gymnasium exploded with noise. Students made sounds of panic in dozens of different languages. Chirps, clicks, whistles, and cries filled the air. 5 kilometers? Pip had backed himself into a corner, his whole body trembling. Just to warm up? Running is what predators do, the large-plated student shouted. Only predators run like that to chase prey. A crystal student had turned completely white. He is a predator. We let a predator into our academy. Dawn tried to calm everyone down. Her body flashed soothing blue colors and she spoke in calming tones. But the students were too frightened. They had never seen anything like Jake before. Jake stood in the middle of the chaos, feeling terrible. He had not meant to scare anyone. He was just being himself. He had just wanted to exercise like he always did. A group of students ran out of the gymnasium. Others pressed themselves against the far walls, trying to stay as far from Jake as possible. Some were making communication signals, probably calling friends to warn them about the dangerous human. Dawn finally got the attention of most students. Please, everyone, calm down. Jake Morrison is not dangerous. He is simply different. His species evolved differently than ours. But her words did not help much. The fear had already spread. Jake looked down at his hands. These were normal hands. He looked at his legs. These were normal legs. But to everyone here, he was something frightening. He was a being from a death world, a predator, something dangerous. An announcement came over the station speakers. Jake Morrison, please report to Administrator Zhen's office immediately. Jake picked up his gym bag. As he walked out of the gymnasium, students moved out of his way, pressing themselves against walls. They watched him with wide eyes full of fear. Dawn followed him to the door. Jake Morrison, I am sorry. I did not expect this reaction. Please do not feel bad. They are just surprised. I understand, Jake said quietly. I'm different. Different is scary. As he walked through the hallways toward the administrator's office, Jake thought about what had just happened. He had been at this academy for only a few hours, and already he had caused a panic. How was he going to make it through a whole semester? Other students in the hallways had already heard the news. They whispered to each other and pointed at him as he passed. The human from the death world. The predator. The dangerous one. Jake had come to this academy to learn, to make friends, to be part of the galactic community. Instead, he had scared everyone on his first day. This was going to be harder than he thought.